Join us at a Friends of NRA event where freedom, fun, and firearms come together like nowhere else. With more than 600 events held across the country, there's always one happening near you. From exciting games to exclusive auctions featuring one-of-a-kind firearms and gear you won't find anywhere else. Whether you're a lifelong hunter, a competitive shooter, or simply passionate about defending freedom, there is a seat for you. Visit friendsofnra.org to find an event near you and get ready for a night you won't forget.
Midway USA brand product designers have one straightforward goal: develop high-quality, technically sound products and deliver them to customers at reasonable prices. If you are immersed in the shooting sports industry and pay close attention to every single detail, you know our products are built right and stand up to everyday use. Who has shooting mats and range bag systems to hunting clothing and just about everything for the outdoors? Log on and shop 24/7 with super fast shipping. MidwayUSA.com.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bowhunter Chronicles podcast, brought to you by Huntworth. Huntworth gear for all types of weather, all types of terrain, all types of budgets. It's clothing that just works. Check them out at huntworthgear.com. And right now they're having their Shop the Rut sale, 25% off until October 26th. You can use code HNT25OCT to save 25% off. And while you're over there, check out the new Obris waterfowl camo. Really nice pattern, good stuff there. You got some different offerings, but some of the stuff that I've been using right now, super simple, but they do have those fingerless merino gloves and the merino and heat boost stocking cap, and those are just things that basically everybody needs, and really happy that Huntworth has those, as well as their new heat boost Berber in that Tarnan pattern. Great stuff. Really looking forward to that here coming up for the rutcations coming up, that colder weather, that sort of stuff. And then over at the Latitude page, check out that Method 3, and then they do have those new Molly pouches out, and they got the Ranger 33 as well. Those products, that Method 3 is, I think, what a 2-panel saddle is supposed to be. I was never a 2-panel guy. The other ones, they just never fit me right. And just everything about that Method 3, it's really starting to grow on me. I do really enjoy that saddle. So if you get a chance, check one of those out and give it a shot. LatitudeOutdoors.com. This week's podcast is a little bit disjointed. We got most of the Roam crew. Everybody was up at the Patreon camp. We go through that. We killed 10 deer. We kind of get everybody's take on it. And then we talk a little bit about how our seasons are going. And, man, we have missed a lot of deer so far. I had a lot of fun. Got some kills on camera. We've killed 3 does on camera. Nate killed a buck on camera. I've missed a buck. Eric's missed a buck. Eric's missed a doe. Brad missed a whole bunch of does. So I just kind of go through that, kind of talk about what's coming up for Kansas, and just kind of like the vibe in camp, kind of everything that was the Patreon hunt. And I say it a lot. I say it all the time, but find yourself a deer camp, find yourself a group of buddies, and get out there and start something, and kind of remove yourself from like the social media aspect of it. Kind of just get back to having fun, sitting around a fire, talking deer hunting, get around like-minded people, and just kind of get back to kind of those hunting roots. Man, it is just a really nice reset. So this is just kind of a recap of our deer hunt, and to everybody that was there, to everybody that played a part in it, thank you so much. It's one of the greatest weekends of the year. Look forward to it every year. And you guys are going to like this episode. It's fun. We did have some technical difficulties. I'm trying to edit that out as best I can, but super fun. Always fun to be able to cut up with these guys. And as always, thanks for listening. All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Bowhunter Chronicles podcast. This is already going to be a fun one. I have, I don't know what you would say, 5, 6 of the Rome cast here. The only one that's missing is Nate, and I feel like we swapped this date around for him amongst other people. And it's funny because I wanted to go through the Patreon hunt, and everybody was there, which is like a feat in and of itself because it's not that difficult. I mean, it's hard enough just to get people on a podcast. But Brad coming up from Tennessee, we were all together for TAC, and now for the Patreon hunt. And that was one of the things we were kind of looking forward to. So I felt like all together we could kind of recap it, and we've been having a lot of activity, I guess, amongst us hunting. And I'll just start off by saying, like, for everybody that has messaged me or come up to me or, over the last couple of years and been like, oh, you're not the world's worst bow hunter. Like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm coming for your title. I, no shit, missed the same buck 3 times on Sunday night. I missed at 18 yards, I missed at 30 yards, and then I missed at 25 yards. So over, under, over. And so the collectively, the people that are on this podcast have kept me from like jumping off a bridge or whatever. It helps that Brad, missed 3 times also this year. Very epically, he captured it on video. I don't know if Eric's up to 3 misses yet this year, but he's pretty so damn close. Yeah, he's 2. Yeah. One buck, 1 doe. Jake hasn't loosed an arrow yet. I don't even know if Joe's hunted yet.
I hunted yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
How'd that
I sent
go?
a picture of the bottom buck.
Oh, I didn't see it. I don't think. I might have had the pistol in my mouth.
What I do.
No, you definitely didn't send a picture of anything.
I did too. I seen a bottom buck.
I think it was a cell cam pic.
Oh my god.
So, anyways, that's what happened. So the world's worst bow hunter is alive and well, and I've often said to people, you have to take away the good things. So I did see a couple of bucks. I was in the right spot. I did a lot of things right to get into position to catch and release that deer a couple times. So that I got to take that away from there as a positive. But the Patreon hunt this year, we had I want to say right around 30 people, and it sounds absolutely ridiculous to say that was like kind of like middle of the road numbers. Like it was, like, oh, numbers were down for your hunt this year. Your deer camp only had 30 people. That sounds absolutely ridiculous, but I feel like that was a pretty nice, like manageable number. And it was a really good group of guys. We had 3 new guys. We had a guy come up from Illinois. We had Brad's brother. And then we had, I guess we'll just call him Amish Ben, because we had 2 Bens in camp. And it was interesting because it's funny, maybe Brad can talk about this like a little bit more, but he's like the only one. Eric's active in the polos a little bit now more. But for guys that just show up or guys that aren't active with the group, you throw another guy in the mix of all these guys. Like maybe you've never met them in real life, but you've been, conversating with them for, the whole rest of the year. So 10 months or, a year leading up to it, you feel like you know these guys. And then you throw in somebody who's like, you're like, who the hell is this guy? Is he really Amish? Like, who the hell is Jim? Like, what's the story with this guy? And they just kind of show up. I think it was really a testament to like the guys that we have there to be able to just kind of like welcome them in. And the fact that like for me personally, like I'm always like on edge because like at any point either one of these guys could be like a serial killer and like just decide that they're from PETA and they're just going to kill everybody, and that's all on me. So I'm always like kind of on pins and needles about that. So I think so. Joe, you've been there, I think, since the first year, right? Because you came up there and helped me clear the property and all that. So this year you you came up there looking kind of like death warmed over. Like when I saw you the first time, and you were like, "Hey man," and you're not like usually the most liveliest guy unless we're busting your balls because you're sitting in your garage on a toilet for a podcast. Where you're not usually like the most liveliest guy, but I was like, holy shit, man, what's going on? You're like, oh yeah, I've been sick for a month or something. So what was your take on it this year?
I think it was good. I think with time, with all these lands, and there's so many people. They're still using. I even heard Tom Taylor's names pins were still dropping. So like, I think like the testament of history and all that is a real key factor of in the woods and all that. Just knowing your stomping ground is still showing that we're getting deer and stuff. So I think it's been a great year and all that. So I decided to put our kids in daycare, and I was like, oh, they're probably gonna get sick because everybody said they get sick, and it was less than like 2 days that I got sicker and then all that. So I went out with Eric, and I don't know if Eric can testify how many times I sneezed and probably blew every deer out of there, but it happened a lot. So I apologize for anybody up there that tried to talk to me or just that, and I was so high on NyQuil and DayQuil that I don't even remember half of it.
Well, I know that you guys weren't paying attention because the one night. So this year we did really well with like the food. So we had really good meals like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Saturday night we had a crock pot full of venison parts. Like Frank took a whole bunch of like leftover venison and cooked it down and everything. And then I made this giant pot of bear chili. And I blame Eric because Joe couldn't smell. Now we know that. But Frank and Chris come back and they're cooking hot dogs like over like a jet boil or something. I don't know what was going on, but Chris is like, what are you guys doing? There's food over here. And but Chris said he saw like the coolest thing ever is like he just took the hot dog, went over there and put a big old scoop of bear chili right on top of it, and was like, this is how we're doing it. So
yeah.
But I think that like, so we had like the food like dialed in, like but like the vibe in camp, like that's the one thing that we've been talking about, kind of why we started it and kind of like bringing back the deer camp. And like that's what it feels like. It feels like you're back at camp with your buddies. Like if you haven't even seen them in a year, or they haven't been on polo, or you haven't had any sort of interaction with them, you kind of just fall right back into it. And I think that was really apparent this year. I mean, what would you say, Eric? Because you're like a real quiet guy as far as like that kind of stuff is concerned.
Yeah, it was super chill this year, I thought. Just because, I don't know, like going for so many years, most of the people, and it's just everybody getting back together, so it's not like meeting all these people new, There was a few new guys, which was cool. But yeah, it's like we started right where we left off the year before.
Yeah, and it was great. Like, I mean, I was hunting with Alex, and I got a text from Eric, like, you're like, the guy that sleeps in the tent across the way, kill the deer. So
I
we
felt
gotta go
horrible
track.
because I couldn't remember his name. It came to me, but it took a while.
Sorry, Jason.
Yeah, sorry, bud.
So, but yeah. So I mean, this year that was what, Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we started killing deer on Wednesday night, where the first year we didn't kill any deer until Saturday night, I don't think. I think it was Saturday night. It was like the
Yeah, I
last
think
night, and we killed 6 or 5 or something. And this year we killed 10 and 2 racked bucks, which I predicted that. I told Tim Clark, I said, we're going to kill multiple racked bucks. And yeah, it was just like, there wasn't a day that we didn't kill a deer. So that was cool too. Like it was just kept going. It was just steady deer killing. So I could handle that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that was Wednesday. Thursday, went out, hunted the morning, and I think Jim and Alex either both missed. No, they both saw like racked bucks. They saw a really nice buck and then like a 4-point. They saw a dozen deer. I saw 5 bucks. And then I had to go back for Stella's game. And I don't know, you hunted Thursday, Eric? Was that when you hunted with Joe?
I scouted all Thursday morning. And then I hunted Thursday night with Matt. And Joe went with me that first night too.
Yeah, and then that Thursday when we got back, that's when Mapes shot that 8-point. Was Thursday
Shot
morning.
Thursday morning.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that was super cool. I mean, that kind of just like set the tone. I think that kind of got everybody excited. Like, oh my gosh, like.
Yeah.
And Josh passed that 4-point Thursday morning, which is unheard of at the Patreon camp for people to pass deer unless you're, Jake or Nate.
Here, pull that.
Well, they're fixing that. You want to hear a funny story about me dropping my camera out of my stand
no.
last night?
Let's hear about
What?
this. Which
Yeah.
camera?
It was just my Osmo. So you know them paper or the potato chip clips that we have that you can put on your GoPro or whatever, the little clip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put that on my bridge. I was like, oh, this is good. Well, that buck came over, and I was like videotaping with my good camera and all that. And I came back, and I was like, man, not even thinking of it. I just like, how you can just yank up on your tether adjuster, or I don't know what that thing's called. I just yanked, just full yank on that thing, and that potato clip just goes poof, and then the camera just goes 20 feet down to the ground. I'm like, oh, there goes, $600-$700. Bye.
So Joe didn't break?
No, it didn't break. Well, it turns on and everything, so I'm kind of happy.
The scariest shit was at TAC. Like, we're going up the chairlift, and Joe's like, can you hold my bow? Like, holding on to the Osmo.
You don't even know. The Osmo was
going over
attached
the
to my
bridge.
hood.
Yeah, with like a $300.
Yeah, that was
fucking-
dumb as hell. I don't know why y'all decided
Yeah,
to do
across
that.
the Mackinac Bridge, the Osmo was attached to the hood.
Yeah, with
I decided we were going to do that with mine, and then, like, realized the only option I had was the chip lip with the magnet on the bottom. It was like, no, let's not do that. But my GoPro wouldn't turn on, or else we definitely would have. I bought a brand new battery for my GoPro for the hunt, like the Enduro, like super long GoPro battery. And me and Troy went out to hunt that time we did before we came up together, and we messed around. And then when he used it like the night before we left, I guess, and it was just dead as disco. Like, plugged the camera in, wouldn't do anything. I don't know what happened.
Is it a OEM battery or not?
No, it's like a legit, bought it from Walmart GoPro.
Battery?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes if they're not seated right, not them aftermarket batteries, the GoPro won't register it when it's charging. So the best thing you do is just charge them separate, and then you can.
I don't care.
Well, that's what I normally, like, I have a 3
Right.
bank charger or whatever, and I slip them in, but like, for the ride up there, I was like, oh, Troy used it, so I was like, oh, it's dead, and then we'll just slip it in and we'll call it a day or whatever. But like, or just charge it on the way, and then it the whole time we were in camp, I tried to charge it, it wouldn't charge.
Yeah,
And I left the other batteries at the house because I brought the brand new freaking extended life battery or whatever with me.
Yeah, them aftermarket or whatever you want to call them. They don't like to charge in the unit. You know, I don't know why, but I had that same problem. Then I got a three bay bank for it. It works just fine.
All right. So, anyways, Jake's back. He's
We got
back.
it figured out.
Yeah, Jake is here. So you were up there for 2 years. Last year you came up there. Joe got some really sweet footage of you, like wrapping up your sticks.
Yeah.
And you used it for our Rome reel, and then we haven't had like a really nice reel since then, except for me going like Forrest Gump and gets 2 million views, and for whatever reason.
Don't worry,
yeah.
the burrito is coming back, dude. That will be your.
But the reel, but I forgot about that because the year before you had passed like a spike or something. You had some deer like walk right underneath. I remember that now. But like for you, you're just like you didn't know anybody like the first year at all.
No, just a select few.
And then this year you like kind of are like ingrained in the group. So what's been your experience? Because I remember it was last year you brought your dad up.
Yeah.
And he was kind of blown away by the camp aspect of it. But this year you were like, you were kind of like there just for the camp because you were hunting big deer, kind of like going away. And you made poor Brad and Troy frickin' build bunk beds and all sorts of stuff like stepbrothers.
Yeah, bitched
and
about
then you
using
left.
his bed and then left us. After we spent a whole afternoon building bunk beds.
That's your guys' issue. I knew where I was sleeping if I stayed. But no.
You're right. If.
Hey,
So
if.
we made bunk beds, and then let's talk about the bunk beds for a second. Like Adam was like, "Oh, I got these great bunk beds. It'll be fine. Like whatever." And then we get there, and then, like if Troy had stayed in that bunk bed, he'd have just ate farts all night.
Well, I mean, they're bunk bed cots, and you wouldn't have not been sleeping on the ground. It'd have been just fine.
I was offered a trailer and a shed, and both were off limits when I got there, and I had to sleep in poor Eric's. We had to pile in Eric's place like Misfit Toys.
To be fair, you said you weren't coming literally a week ago.
I honestly thought I
didn't even
wasn't
know he
coming.
was coming till he was there. I thought he wasn't coming.
I didn't either.
Yeah. I love this group.
I completely forgot about that aspect of it. Like, yeah, you weren't even going to be there that morning. You're like, here's what's happening. Either I get in the car and I'm coming up and I'm leaving right now, or I'm just not coming. And it's not looking like I'm coming.
Look. So for the people that aren't in the group, so my wife's aunt, 40-year-old aunt, had a stroke and passed away. So I was supposed to be up Wednesday, and that all happened on, I believe, Monday. I was at work, so yeah, Monday. Sunday. It happened on Sunday. So I had like this plan to be up there early. It was going to be this whole thing, and then it was kind of like hour by hour there for a minute. Like, I didn't want to be the jerk that was like, hey, I know your wife or your aunt just had a stroke and whatever, like, but can I still go to deer camp? But luckily, like, my wife texted me after 2 or 3 days and was like, hey, I know this means a lot to you. Like, you come back a different person than the person that shows up, or when you leave, you're a different person. It's like super important to you. So I want you to go. We figured out stuff with the kids, and I a day late got to camp, but still got to go, which was pretty awesome for me. So I can't complain at all.
And you brought your brother, and like it's kind of unfair because I had this conversation already today with Brad, but like I've talked to Brad quite a bit about the subject. I'm sure Eric has got an earful because we talked about it quite a bit when we were hunted down in Tennessee with Brad. But Brad paints his brother in this light of like, you know, he's this, he's that. I won't use any of the adjectives that Brad uses, just, you know, to be fair to Brad. But so I didn't really know what to expect when he shows up with his brother. But then, I mean, they showed up and it was like, okay. And what time did you guys roll into camp?
Right. We went to go. Did we track that night? Maybe not. It was dark. Like we rolled in. I remember like we pulled in and I didn't even realize it was you. It was just somebody with a headlamp like peered toward us, and I was like, "Where the Whitewood at?" And you were like, "Not here." Or I said, "We're here for the beer and the bitches," and you were like, "Yeah, wrong camp. Like that's down the way." I was like, "Oh well, I guess we'll keep moving then." But yeah, it was dark. I don't even know. Probably 9:30, 10 o'clock ish.
Okay. Yeah, and so that was like that was Thursday night, and that morning is when I'd seen all those bucks, and I'd seen deer on both sides of me, and I knew that there was two different spots where guys had to set up, and the morning prior was, or I guess that morning, the night prior, I was going to go hunt this other spot that I'd scouted it. To Joe's point, it was a Tom Taylor spot, and I had scouted it over the winter to kind of see what was going on there in the snow. And I found it exactly what I thought was going on. And I told Alex, I said, we need to go sit there in the morning because I'm certain that we can kill a deer there. And it's funny because like when I was hunting with Brad and Troy, he said, you know, we were driving around and he's like, well, why aren't you guys hunting these river bottoms or creek bottoms or whatever? And I said, you know, we're not really trying to kill the deer. We're just trying to kill a deer, like some deer. This is more of like get the low hanging fruit. Like this is a numbers game here. It's not like it. And I think like for people who are listening, who don't really understand, like this is a deer camp that's for nothing else than for fun and camaraderie. And I mean, I don't know if you find Brad, if you find Brad on Facebook now, he changed his profile picture and it's him and Eric in a photo that Joe took and is edited. And they're in a mossy oak in a real tree, 1992 coverall, that the photo happens to be edited to look vintage. There's a deer hanging on the buck pole with two porcupines hanging on the buck pole in the background and a pile of deer parts. And that pretty much sums up the whole idea behind the weekend is just to go out, have fun, shoot some deer, kind of like they would have in the 90s or the 80s or the 70s or the 60s, where it wasn't like a pissing contest of, you know, who gets more likes or follows or whatever. And it's just out there shooting deer with your buddies and piling in the back of a rusty old pickup and going to try and find gut shot deer. You know, that's kind of,
we got a picture of that too.
That's kind of what we're doing here. Anyways, but so I was like, we need to be right there in that spot. And then Jim from Illinois, who popped up on the polos, you know, right about the same time Brad said he wasn't coming. So
yeah, dude came out of nowhere. Just was there.
And then he shows up and he's like, I'm, you know, going to come tomorrow, but I talked to wife. I got out of work early. Shows up. Well, this is all well and good, but when you show up at 10 o'clock or whatever, and to try to hunt, try to figure out stuff, it's like, well, what's going on for the morning? Well, shit. What is going on for the morning? You don't know, you know, obviously he doesn't know we probably even know where he's at, like where's hunting, what it looks like. So I'm like, Alex, here's the pin, go there. I'll go try and figure something out. And they went in there, saw a bunch of deer. So, next day they're going back in there. So I'm like, all right, Brad. I think you and I had already talked about like we'd talked about like you getting filmed here because we don't ever get to hunt together. And you are always looking for your Eric down in Tennessee. So you need somebody to hunt with. You need somebody. And apparently Troy's not that guy. And then we got to figure out what to do with Troy. Well, then Nate was coming up. So what I try to do, and that was easy with Jim because I already knew where I was going to send Alex. But like for Ben, when he came up, like same deal. Don't know where he's going, where he's hunting, what his skill level is, any of this stuff. So Tim Clark was up there. I'm like, Tim, here's a guy who doesn't know the area, take him out under your wing and kind of see what his level of skills are and kind of show him like what's going on. And, just try to make sure that these guys have a good experience. That they're not just like, well, fuck, I came up here to try and learn something or whatever, and I just got thrown to the wolves in a bunch of roe pines when I don't know how to hunt or whatever. But yeah, so I said, all right, Troy, you're going to go with Nate. Brad, you're coming with me. I'll go here. Troy and Nate, you guys go there. We should see some deer, and it was fun as hell. So Brad, I don't know. Why don't you talk about like your past 2 years coming up here hunting? And, we talked about it before about how it was more of like maybe like a therapy session for you more than a hunt. And then like what it was like this year.
Yeah. So, first year, the three amigos were born, 3 dudes sitting, 3 deep in, an extended cab pickup, but anyway, we sat in the front seat anyway, just had a good time, sat real close to each other, hung out. Last year I hung out with Robbie and Ben a bunch. We kind of circled in on one area and just kind of stuck in there. And again, just had a lot of fun. Like that was more what it was about, was more about fun. And then this year with the Rome thing kicking off and all that, Adam and everyone was like, all right, you are going to be filmed. Like, you're not going to go anywhere. You're going to have Joe on you. You're going to have Adam. You're going to have Nate. You're going to have somebody on you with a camera because we don't have very many opportunities where I'm in Michigan or y'all are down here with me. So I walked into camp fully expecting my guided experience. Shout out to Eric Redder for eating like 14 plates of meatballs before we got there. We had to bust open the ramen the first night because we walked up and they're like, hey, there's food over there at Chris's place. We're like, sweet. We walked over and it was like just sauce. And I was like, oh, shit. And apparently at some point in the night, Eric had said to somebody, hey, you better get over here because I've already had 3 plates. So, anywho, Adam was like, yeah, we're going to go in. I got a spot. I saw $5 this morning. And of course, my first thought was like, what about my brother? Like, I don't want to, leave him hanging. Anyway, it worked out. We found a spot, and then, fortunately, Nate was in camp, and he was willing to tag along and kind of film and whatever with my brother. So we went in that morning over to the old Killing Tree kind of area where Adam and Brian last year had laid waste to some deer. And it actually ended up being, it was kind of funny, like Adam was showing me pins the night before, the night we got there, of where we were going, and I had sat the Killing Tree Sunday of last year and ended up walking down that 2-track, which now we know is not public land. Found that out a little late, but last year it wasn't marked like it was this year, so I ended up walking down that 2-track of that old road and kind of dropping down in, and I was in the same general area of where we hunted Friday morning and scouted that whole area. And then there's like this big oxbow on the other side of the river that I had thought about crossing this down tree and whatever, blah, blah, blah. But so fast forward Friday morning, we walk in.
Hold on real quick though, Joe. I think the first year when you said you were going to go in and hunt, like this like
Oh, the bridge was out
yeah,
in the oxbow.
it was back in there. That's where we were at. So like same area. Like it's just one of those spots I think where everybody kind of looked at it on the map and kind of said the same thing. So anyway,
Yeah, and I honestly don't know if anyone like you look at that Blue Force Tracker thing, there's like 15 pins on that oxbow, but I don't know if anybody has made like the opposite side of the river trip from that. Like at least I don't know. Nobody's mentioned it out loud at least. But even that, like I was like, I'm going in. I'm going to find that oxbow this year. Like that was my plan. And then all of a sudden Adam was like, hey, there's $15 on the other side of that. Let's go over here instead of trying to go to the spot we don't know anything about. But yeah, Friday morning we go in. We get to a spot where Adam's like, all right, deer came in this way. Deer came in this way. We're going to go down here and drop down. Troy and Nate, you're going to go over this way. Like saw bucks up here, saw bucks down here. Somebody's going to get a shot. And so we drop down in. Me and Adam are sitting on this point, and we were trying to find a spot that's like, it's hard with two people, right? You either got to sit in the same tree or you got to sit in two trees that are very close to each other. So we're both kind of figuring that out, being solo hunters, if you will. So we're standing there, and at one point, like, white lights are on, and we're trying to figure out what's going on, and, like, I look, and I'm like, Adam, did you notice there was a scrape right here? And he's like, I don't think that was there last night. So we were 4 or 5 yards at that point from that scrape. And then we end up sitting in a tree, and then that's when the circus began from that point on. It just was one of the funnest hunts I've ever been on, ever. And both me and my brother were able to capitalize within, I don't know, 5, 10, maybe 10 minutes max of each other. So it was super fun. And I got the monkey of my 3 misses off my back.
fuck you.
And it's kind of like I was saying, like, so 3 years in Michigan, this being the 3rd year, to finally go ahead and like punch a tag was awesome. And not that it was, a 140-inch buck or anything crazy like that, but to shoot a 100-pound doe and lo and behold, be the biggest doe in camp, that was, yeah, that was the cherry on the top for me. Like anything else that came after that really didn't matter. Like it was just finally got the monkey off my back.
Well, what was funny is like when we were in the truck, and I think either you got it on like your phone or it's on one of the videos on my thing. It was like, we were like, we could literally like all 4 of us shoot something in there. Like we could all 4 shoot a deer in there this morning. And we're like, Nate, if like everybody shoots a deer and like the next deer is like a 4-point or something, and we could all 4 come back with a deer, will you shoot it just for the sake of shooting it? Cause he's already shot a buck. So it'd be his last buck tag. And without like, even like the words weren't even out of his mouth. He's like, absolutely not. Like, no way. No, I don't care about camp. I don't care about anything. It's my last buck tag. I'm here just with the camera. Like,
Troy said he didn't even knock an arrow. And that was like one of the big things we talked about is like when they got up the tree or whatever, like Nate brought his bow and he hung his bow, but like didn't knock an arrow. My brother was like, what the hell is this guy doing? Like, why is he not?
Well, yeah, he did the same thing when he was hunting with me, and he missed that button buck with my bow.
Well, yeah, because his bow doesn't shoot those.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is I was like, I leaned around the tree and I go, oh, you didn't knock an arrow. And he goes, oh, I wouldn't shoot a button buck with my bow. And I was like, what? And he's like, oh, that's for other people's bows or like a trad bow or something. But he's like, not my bow. I would never shoot a button buck with my bow. So it was that same tree as Brad and I. But the thing with that, Brad, was like, that was like on the reels, and like we're shadow banned on Instagram. So if you guys are listening to this, go check out the Instagram because we have like 14 followers on Instagram for some reason. But that's the one where Brad and I are passing the camera back and forth, and like we did that multiple times because there were other deer that were coming in that I was going to shoot. Brad got the full draw twice or 3 times on different deer. And, but we had a bald eagle fly up and down the river multiple times, land right behind us. There's the otter swimming in the river behind us. Like, there was just so much cool stuff that happened. And that deer died. Like, there was no tracking it. We shot it here and we watched it die right over there. So there was no questioning the shot. There was no second guessing anything. It was just like done. So then it was all fun and games, like literally after that. Like there was no, like when you say like the monkey off your back, it was like literally all fun and games. There was no seriousness after that whatsoever, at least for me.
Not at all. No, yeah, no. We were it like I said, it was the funnest time I've probably ever had in a tree. Just like gray light, that eagle comes in, like, and then the otters like splashing around, and we're like taking video of this and that, and that whole thing before dark with Ben, and like we were making fun of all the different hunting shows and whatever, like
Jesus Christ.
just yucking it up, like having a great time. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, Adam, there's deer behind us. And they the 3 does come in, they absolutely read the script. And I guess opposite of the script. We thought they were going to come down from the top and they came up from the bottom. But either way, it was like, 14, 15 yards maybe, if that. Held a little, like I thought she was going to take another step, so I held a little in front of her, like anticipating that, and ended up punching a shoulder, and she kind of carried the arrow off. But like, again, like Adam said, just 30 yards maybe total from where she was shot. And so from that point on, it was just on. Like, it was just fun. Like, there was no more, like, we need to have this whatever on film. There was no more, like, it just was fun.
Yeah. The thing of it is like, it was just like so quick. It was like deer, like, and I just pull out the camera and I was like videoing them, and it was like 30 seconds, whack.
I don't even think there was like a you're on, or like are you on them thing. It was just kind of like,
no.
She stepped up, she like crested that little finger or whatever you want to call it, and I like went to full draw and knew between your GoPro, or not GoPro, Insta360, my Insta360, and the camera, like, we were going to get a shot on film. It didn't matter, and just whack, and then dead deer. And then all of a sudden it was like, the Brad instinct kicked in, like, dead deer, knock another arrow, because there's still deer messing around, and we farted around with them for a minute, and then kind of had to, like, look at each other and go back to, like, the whole, because, like, it was kind of like you were talking about the whole killer thing. Like, my instinct was I bought 2 doe tags because I was going to fill 2 doe tags in camp. Like, so to like go back to like the, like we didn't high five, we didn't nothing. It was just like whack. And then it was like back on business. Like, we got deer in the area. We need to kill these deer. And then after we hung the bows up and like you turned the camera back around, and you were like, hey, like, Knuckles, like, holy shit, it worked out. Like, and then I don't know, it was like I said, maybe 5, maybe 10 minutes later, we almost to the point where we thought it was probably the same deer that came in at the time. We thought it was the same deer that came in. All of a sudden I heard like a whack, and then Adam is so fucking deaf. I don't know if anybody, like, everybody says like, oh, I'm deaf. And like, I say it all the time. And then I met Adam, like I was in the woods with Adam. Yeah, no, there's no such thing as deaf until you've met Adam. Adam is deaf. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I just heard one of them 2 shoot. And he's like, I didn't hear shit. And I was like, no, I just very distinctively heard like a broadhead meeting a chest cavity. And he's like, I don't think I heard that. I was like, well, we'll find out. And then we have no service. We're 75 yards apart, maybe less than that. And we have no idea what's going on in the other tree, like up the way. And then lo and behold, they saw 12 deer, and Troy was at full draw 15 times or whatever. And like, they're just craziness ensued.
You got to tell that story about him going to shoot his second one
with the button buck.
Yeah.
So I guess the first deer, I still haven't seen the video. Nate's got the video somewhere. I guess the first deer, my brother goes to shoot like off the weak side, and ended up like was trying to like draw and like tripped into full draw is the only way like it was explained. Like I don't know. I guess Nate said he like spun around the backside and just the way he was standing, like he couldn't get there, but like something slipped or tripped or moved or whatever, and then he ends up at full draw and ends up just lacing the stow. And so I said this like other deer comes in behind him and it's at like 45 or 50 yards. So he like ranges it. He dials down. He's like looking at Nate, and Nate's like, "I'm on him. Go ahead." And I guess like Troy gets the full draw, and Nate's like, "Hold on, it's gonna come closer." So he like lets down. And he like dials his sight back, and his deer like works its way around. And it steps up to like 15 yards, and my brother, which is a big deal for my brother to like pass deer. Like he doesn't do that like ever, never, ever. And he said he's like gets to full draw on this deer, and he's getting ready to shoot it in this fucking. And he said, so backstory is my brother's never met Nate at all. Not even like my brother doesn't polo much. He doesn't whatever. He's in the Patreon group, but he doesn't do a whole lot. So he doesn't know Nate. And Nate's like this big private land. I only kill 37-year-old deer or whatever. And so he said he was like nervous to shoot this button buck in front of Nate because like Nate climbed a fucking tree and didn't even put an arrow knock. Like, so he's like, I don't know if this guy's going to judge me. Like, I don't know what's going on. So he says he's sitting there and he's like, can I kill it? And Nate's like, yeah, I'm on it. Go ahead. And I guess he gets to full draw. And this deer's like he just killed its mom. My brother was like lets down. He looks at Nate. He's like, I can't fucking do it, man. I can't kill this like little butt buck that's still got milk on its fucking mouth and shit, looking for its mom that I just shot. So they had the same kind of like, experience me and Adam had, just 75 yards apart, looking at potentially the same deer that we were looking at, and just. Luckily, he got that in his first year versus I had to wait 3 years to get that super fun.
Yeah, but that was the thing is like, we walk up and, well, I'd lost my tether the day before, so we walked up a little bit different way, found my tether, so I was like, oh, fuck yeah. And we go up there and they're getting down, and Troy's like, this is unreal. He's like, is this real life? Like, we saw a dozen deer, they're everywhere running around. And that's why I'm like, Brad talks all this shit about his brother, and his brother's like, just great guy having a ball, just up there shooting deer, like, no issue. He wasn't, but I mean, I guess he was on like a perfectly guided hunt. He just gets into camp.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Has some ramen, gets woken up to a comedy show, and then heads off to the land of the little deer, but whatever. So, Joe, with you in filming and being sick and all that, so you have this like gigantic camera, and I was filming with like Nate's camera and did a very piss poor job, by the way.
I want to see all these bald eagles and all the shots. I want to.
Oh no! That's
that's
on Adam's camera. That's all on there.
Okay. I can't wait to see this. I'm gonna. It's gonna be so majestic.
I did get the bald
me and
eagle
Eric
just a
didn't
little
see
bit.
Shit.
I did get like a little bit of the bald eagle. The otter, you can't really see him in there, but you can hear it. It's nice.
Our deaf audience is going to be fucking pleased, dude. That's a speckled otter.
But yeah, so we're doing our best, No.
In all seriousness, I'm glad everybody was.
But my question is like, that is like somewhat cumbersome, and your camera is like 4 times as big.
Yeah.
Like, is that like a pain in the dick?
Oh,
like,
yeah, 100%.
So are you like...
We got into Eric's trailer. We were talking about the trailer thing earlier, right? And there sits this $9,000 bajillion camera sitting on this bed. And like, what we didn't show is Joe's got a pack-out system full of just camera shit in the trailer. And we're sitting there, and Troy's like, can I move this camera? And I'm like, well, I'm not sure which bed is Joe's. I was like, but we got to move the camera to like make our beds. I was like, yeah. And I like set it in this pile of snacks that Eric had in this box. And I was like, surely Joe will figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like, I think like the main point right now, like why I'm running around like with that camera, I can definitely do it with my other camera, but like for Kansas and all this other stuff, I really want to just like, it's such a learning curve to go from a mirrorless to like a Cine camera. And so I've just been trying to, figure out the best way. I mean, we did the bear hunt together, and that was just pure chaos. So,
Was that with the big camera too?
Yeah, that was with the big camera.
I'm glad you had a camera, Joe.
Yeah, I'm glad we didn't have communication, but we had a camera.
No, look, so you guys did the podcast about the communication with Adam, and I was like, oh, it can't be that fucking bad. Until second morning, I was in camp. I go to film Adam, and I'm trying to I look up. Insta360's got a scratch on the brand new lens protector that I just bought, and I'm like trying to buff it off, see if it's And I look over, and Adam's like, I'm like, there's a scratch on my lens, and he's like, scratch. I was like, scratch on the lens. And he's like, I don't know what the fuck you're saying. So I get you. I feel you now. That you guys had that whole Adam, from the bear hunt. And I did the same thing in the morning. I heard this deer, I had no idea where the deer were supposed to come from. And I heard this deer, or what I assumed to be a deer, walk by us. And I was like, I was like, hey, what? I was like, there's a fucking deer over there, dude. So I feel you now. I feel you, Joe. At first, I thought maybe it was just you, but
try being 15, 20 feet away at least.
Yeah, that's how we were the second morning. The first morning, we were
okay.
I could have slapped him if I needed to get his attention.
Yeah.
But the second morning, we were, I don't know, 10 yards maybe, maybe less than that apart in two different trees, and that was yeah. And then I dropped my phone too, so I couldn't even text him to tell him what the fuck was going on.
I definitely heard that.
Yeah, so did everyone.
Yeah.
Probably heard that at camp.
Yeah,
I was just wondering, Joe, because when I was using Nate's camera and trying to I can see why you have a monitor, because trying to see anything on that little tiny screen and it's just a disaster. And kind of what Brad was talking about, the one day I think you were in bed or you were over by the fire or something, and it looked like your camera was still on, the viewfinder was on, and I was trying to figure out how to shut it off, and I was I don't know, maybe he's doing something with it, maybe it's doing something. I was I don't know how to turn it off, and I was I can't afford it, so
I can't afford it either, but yeah, I mean, it's
much as that new truck.
Yeah, it's self-filming and filming in general is the biggest pain in the shit. People, I know this is right now we're early in the season of people starting to do it, or people that do it regularly, I guess. Right now you're all hyped. You're I'm gonna get this. I'm all that. Mid-November, you're F that camera, F that camera arm I have to set up every time. F that third camera. Oh, battery's dead. I forgot to dump the SD. Everything's full. It gets really, really, really.
That's what I ran into tonight when I made the switch from the tree I was originally in to the other. I was gonna sit on the ground was my game plan, and then I remembered oh fuck, I don't want to say I have to get shit on film now, but it's kind of hard to do what we're doing without shit being on film. Well. It could be
obligations,
you have a $9 million camera and shoot it with my phone, but it's fine, Joe.
That's fine. I don't care.
Well, obviously, but that was my thing tonight. Was it was kind of like the 10 up, 10 down thing, where I felt obligated to do things a certain way. I was just gonna sit in this bush, that was my game plan. But I realized that. Then I would only have had the Insta360. I didn't bring my painted arrow with me, so And then I made a move and ended up not working out. I don't think other than almost getting run over on the way out tonight, but I don't think there was really any deer in there at all.
Yeah, for me, like the other night, if I'd had the camera arm up there, it would have been 100% even more of a rodeo. Like, it would have been, maybe I would have been more patient because the camera arm would have 100% been in the way. And I'd have been like, well, I have to wait until it comes on this side of the tree. And then I'd have missed even further, even higher, because he'd have been even closer. But, yeah, it was a mess. But to get kind of back onto the Patreon hunt, we killed 10 deer total. Has there ever been a year where, because every year there's been somebody's killed multiple deer. The first year you killed a doe family group. The first year Brad was there, Tyler killed 2 little ones.
2 or 3, yeah.
Mapes killed 2, I think.
Last year.
And then this year Jason killed 2. Last year Brian killed 2. Okay, so yeah.
No, Chris B killed 2 in one set.
Yeah, and Ben killed 2 this year.
The real Chris B.
Ben killed 2?
Ben, yeah, he killed a spike and a doe, didn't he?
I don't think so.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I was over there hanging around his tent too long.
No, but I was just going to say, was if there was a year where there was more than one person that killed multiple deer, but Brian killed 2 last year, and I think Mapes killed 2 last year. So,
And I've killed none up there.
Yeah, we know.
I feel like that's like not necessarily. I think you're playing by a different set of rules.
Oh yeah. I don't go up there to shoot stuff. Like, that's a getaway weekend.
Yeah, it's a fun weekend. I haven't
I'll
killed
let
one up
every
there
deer
yet
walk.
either.
So Eric, we've left out. You had some excitement there. You and Joe while you were there,
Yeah,
but you a little bit more than Joe.
yeah. I took Matt out the first night, Thursday night, onto a spot that I found Thursday morning scouting, and it was a mile walk, but it was a pretty easy walk, and I don't know, there was probably 8 to 10 scrapes in a row once you get back there. So I had him set up on the one end, and then we went to the other end, about 75 yards apart maybe. I couldn't see where he was at, but I know he was close. And then we didn't see anything, and then I don't know what time it was, about 6 o'clock or so, heard schwack, and Matt had shot at a doe, and then he missed, like he always does. He's got a bad record up there for missing, but I couldn't see anything. I think Joe could see his knock, and I couldn't see the deer, but we knew that they were over there, and they didn't take off. They like hung around for 10 minutes, and then they took off running by us. So that was Thursday night. And then I can't remember if it was Friday or Saturday when I shot at one.
Which is
I
also
wasn't with you.
Saturday. It had to
No,
be
it wasn't
Saturday.
Saturday.
night. I thought it was Friday.
Yeah,
night.
because I went with Jake's Friday, and then I went with you to
Oh,
that
you
honey
went
hole.
with me in the other spot Saturday. So yeah, it was
the honey
Friday.
hole.
It was Friday
Quotation
night.
marks.
It was Friday night that Matt and I went back in there, and we pushed in farther. I went in about another 100 yards, and then he went in probably about another 100 yards from where he had been sitting, because we went in farther after we scouted. We hunted Friday morning, and then we scouted it a little more. So I had a doe sneak up behind me about 6 o'clock, and I probably shouldn't even have shot at her, because she came in on my weak side. She was right there, but I did anyway. And I had to go over the bridge, around, draw back, and I was like in an awkward position. Felt like I pulled something in my back. I was barely hanging onto the platform, just both feet on my tippy toes, reached around, and I let one go, and I thought at first I might have skipped the rib cage on her because she was quartered so bad, but I did hit a branch. You can see it in the video. And the arrow deflected, and she was gone. So
Matt's account of that story was epic. I don't know. It's the only way to describe it. Like,
what
we
do
all
you-
thought Matt, he got on the polo, and like we all thought Matt had shot, and like he's like, oh, there, he's like, there's the knock glowing, whatever, blah blah. And we were like, me and my brother. That was the night me and my brother were just sitting in camp, and I'm like, oh shit, Matt just shot something. We're gonna have to go track or whatever. And then he was like, no, I just, he's like, I was sitting here, and then I saw this doe pop up, and he's like, oh shit. And
Oh, yeah,
started,
he
like,
was-
get ready. He said, all of a sudden there's just, boom, and a lighted knock comes in and just smacks the side of this doe.
Yeah, I think he was ranging her when I shot.
yeah, he said he like raged the deer, and then this lighted knock smacks off its side and fucking takes off.
Yeah. So then she was gone, and then about a half hour later, he shot at a raccoon, and I heard that and seen that go down, and then the raccoon went running down the ridge, and he missed that too. So
But I, for how long we've been doing this, so that it's hard to believe that it's been this is like the 4th year, but it seems like it doesn't seem like it's been that long, but it also seems like we've been doing it for like, it's such a good group of guys that seem like everybody just kind of falls into place. Like, we know where Chris is going to have his camper. We know where these guys are going to be. Like, we know kind of what's going on. And, yeah, it's going to be a fun time when my brother gets there, my brother-in-law gets there. But, in what I think is fun is kind of like how it's a very unselfish group of people. I mean, Eric Redder comes from New York, and he's running around like a crazy person trying to get other people on deer and like egging people on to shoot everything and anything, maybe like to a fault sometimes. But for some of the guys who haven't shot deer, or, who've been having a rough go, everybody's like, fully behind them, trying to help them out, trying to get them on deer, trying to get them like over that hump. So like, next year, Matt, I think, has got to be pretty close to the top of that list.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't know if
If we can get Chris Langlois to hunt,
yeah,
maybe he could be on that list too.
yeah. So I think Chris Langlois, if he can put some time into hunt. But I was gonna say with Matt, if it's got to be the Joe Davis, Jake from TAC, where you just have him draw back and aim, and then you guys hit the release.
Release.
If we have to make sure.
Do you guys honestly? Do you think we could pull that off in a tree stand?
Dude, we're batting 50-50.
Yeah, I hit it the first
we shot
time,
it
and
twice. We hit once. So I mean,
I think
Our
we could
odds
pull
are
that off in a
good.
tree stand.
Well,
We'd have
Just
to be
so-
in the same tree.
yeah.
But do you think honestly, do you think we could get somebody at full draw on a deer and somebody else hit the trigger?
Well,
I think we could pull it off.
Brad, look at this, okay? You, me, and Eric aren't even 50% doing it ourselves. So,
it's not wrong.
so, let's not put the cart before the horse here.
That arrow Eric shot down here is still going somewhere because I've been looking for it and I don't know where the fuck it's at.
Adam
It's
just
like
wrecked
he's
that
at
because
40, and then it closed like 50 yards. And Eric's like, "Boom."
Swing.
Mister, I never miss over here.
I haven't. You have?
Oh my god!
I'm sitting here thinking we could pull that off, and then Adam says that. Like,
Yeah,
I
what a
guess
dick. What a
you're
Debbie
probably
Downer.
right.
Yeah, well,
Joe could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah, you guys pulled off the original shot.
Yeah. Well, I think. We,
But Joe would have to bring his bow to the woods, and that's a problem because
He
Joe
brought
doesn't
it
do
on
I
that.
did bring my
Friday.
bow one time. I did.
he brought it out when he was
I didn't
with
even
me.
know you had a bow in camp.
Well, they told me, they're like, hey, Eric's going to go to the secret sauce spot. I was like, oh, shit, man, I better bring my bow for this.
Well, and then I told him on Friday to leave the big camera. I said,
Oh,
"Well,
you
just
did?
go hunt."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
You
we-
also
You were in
told
camp
him-
on Friday?
So you also told him to grab the pistol out of the console. So
On a
I
raccoon?
thought we were going to say that shit on the air.
On a raccoon?
yeah.
Yeah, it was a raccoon.
so come
He
on.
was like, "Oh, I could shoot that with my bow," and I was like, we don't do that around here." And he was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, we have these things called guns." I'm like, "You have a permit? Like, I mean, just
Yeah.
shoot it with a handgun."
Let her eat, bro.
And
The
he was
old
like,
easy button.
No, we're not doing that. I was like,
Well,
okay.
that was the funniest thing too. Is Troy, first thing he does, he gets out of the car, the Volkswagen, as he comes in, and he's got this pistol on his hip, and he's like, "Is this legal? Is this legal? Is this legal?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine. You're fine. Go hunt the first day. Is this legal? Is this legal? This legal?" Go hunt with them in the orchard. There's a freaking coyotes
what the
everywhere,
fuck?
lighting up and yipping. Brad's like, "Are coyotes legal to shoot?" I said, "Yeah." And he says, "Okay." Then freaking they light up, and I was like, "Those ones?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "They're right in front of us." The next text is like, "Do you have a gun?" I'm like, "Where's Troy's gun?" Like he's toting it around at camp, like he's
That
afraid.
dude, look, my brother doesn't go, like, the fact that he's in college kind of surprises me because he's not allowed to carry a gun on campus. But he doesn't go anywhere without a gun. So I just assumed, right? That's what I get for assuming what they say. You make an ass out of you and me. Like, I assumed this dude's got his 40 in his pants, like he's always got. And we hear this, burp, 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 and I was like, I turned to him and I said, "What the fuck is that?" And he's like, "I think it's coyotes." And then they start howling, and I was like, "Oh shit!" So I text Adam, and I'm like, "Can we kill coyotes?" Like, being out of state, you don't know the base license. Do I have to have a small game permit? Like down here, if you buy just a big game license, you don't have a small game license. Like whatever. Like I'm just trying to make sure I'm okay to like shoot whatever. And he's like, "Yeah, go for broke. Like wear them out." I'm like, "Cool." And at the time, like I had thought the way they were progressing, I thought they were going to run into the orchard. And all of a sudden he's like they just lit up. Like, and there had to be, I mean, Adam, I don't know how much you heard being as far away from us as you were, but like there was a pile of them. It wasn't just one or two. There was a whole pack in there, like running something around. And I like leaned over to my brother and I was like, "Do you got a gun?" And he was like, "No." I was like, "Fuck, I hope Adam does, because that's the way we have to get out of here." And then, I text Adam and he's like, "No, the gun's in the truck." I was like, "That ain't gonna do us no good." But it ended up just being, again, like that, back to the whole thing, like how much fun I had this year. Not saying I didn't have fun the first 2 years, because I had a bunch of fun the first 2 years, but I was also hunting and had fun. And then also, like, wasn't at full draw. Nobody yelled "fuck yeah" this year, so like that worked out too.
Yeah, well, that whole coyote thing, like I had to walk down this like 2-track, like this narrow, like it was like thick woods on both sides, and then it opened up into like this orchard, and that was like right where the coyotes were. And like I stopped like 20 yards before where I got to that opening, and I was like looking for their lights. I didn't see their lights. I didn't see anything. And I texted Brad, and I'm like, "You guys getting down?" Because I fully expected either one of two things to happen. Them to either like jump out and scare me, the being assholes or like them to shoot at me because they were like on edge, and I was like, I told them that I was like, I know you guys are gonna be fucking all wired up like when you get down out of the tree.
Well, like, and that was a shit show to begin. Those fucking trees we were in were such a pain in the ass.
I told you. I said Brian didn't like them.
He knocked the contact loose or whatever the fuck in there. And, but no, like Adam was like, I'm 3/4 of a mile from you. And then he like texted me like, I'm getting down. And I was like so convinced that I was fucking going to kill a deer in this apple orchard that I was like, we're going to wait till the absolute last second of legal light to get down. And then, of course, we start shimmying down, and we're at the base of these 2 trees we're in, and we're in this, like, thick little bush with the 2 of us, and we're, like, fucking hitting each other, like, as we're trying to, like, pack our shit up. And at one point, I was like, fuck it, I'm just going out of here. And my brother's like, man, you ain't got to be a dick about it. Like, I was like, no, I just want fucking more space. Like, I'm sick of running into you. Like, this is fucking stupid. So, and then Adam's like, you guys good? I'm like, we'll be there in a fucking second, dude. You calm your tits. We gotta get out of here before we fucking can get out of here.
It might help too if you get a smaller backpack.
I did get a smaller backpack.
Okay, cool.
He's got one.
Yeah, you weren't there. You left us. Remember when you left?
Oh. Okay.
And then like the whole camp kept carrying on. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were all there. We were still there, and then you left, and then shit happened.
Oh,
so
perfect.
while that all happened, when you left us after we made our fucking bunk beds, and then you didn't stay there anyway.
You knew the plan.
I didn't know shit. The plan was Jake was supposed to come up, and the plan I was told from the beginning was that Jake, Nate, or Joe was going to have a camera on me the entire time I was up there. And then somebody, we're not going to say names, Jake, left. And, but at least you're here tonight, and somebody else skipped out of us.
Certain deer running around.
Look, I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
And Adam says, yeah, you should probably go there. And I said, all right, cool. I'm going to go home.
Yeah. Jake told me, it was kind of like last year, or the first year or whatever it was, but Jake told me, oh, I got these deer on camera, and then flaked out. Didn't take me down there to kill him.
I told you I would.
And you didn't.
You
had
said,
to beg Adam.
Adam's going to take me. I said,
I had to beg Adam for a spot.
Well, and look, you shot a deer.
Get Joe down here.
Shot one
crack
yet,
it up.
So fuck off.
Hey, look, it's fine.
Quantity over quality, Brad.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm quantity over quantity, and that's kind of what I was talking about when I was shooting too. Because I will shoot
quantity over misses?
Yeah, quantity of arrows over quality of arrows.
Speaking of it, so Eric brought 2.5 arrows to camp.
Yeah, what the hell was that about?
Yeah. That's what I had.
One of them's still orbiting somewhere around Tennessee. Just
if you could pick that up for me, I'd appreciate it.
I promise you, every time I've been in there since, I've looked for it.
I just love our group chat when he says, "Hey, anybody got a deal on arrows? Because I need arrows." Shouldn't we have thought about that like 2 months ago?
Like August?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the least, the very latest.
Yeah, and then he's calling me, asking, he's like, hey, do you know anywhere that's got broadheads? I'm like,
oh, yeah, speaking of which, let's talk about that. Hey, guys, I forgot my broadheads to bring to camp. Anybody going to be able to pick me up some on the way through? Joe, you got anything to say about that?
I forgot my broadheads.
How do you forget your broadheads?
Dude, I had my furnace went out. I was dealing with that.
But you brought your $900 million camera, but you forgot
that
your
was
broadheads to
my
a
mission. I
fucking
wasn't care about killing a deer. I wanted to get stuff on the camera.
Lord.
Kill him with the camera.
This is why we don't get anything done, guys. In case anyone that's listening is wondering why Rome isn't like got 4 million followers, it's because this is what our group chat sounds like every day. We're just constantly giving each other shit, which is why I love it. Because, like, where else can you talk shit to somebody and the next day, like, Adam's having a bad day and we all just completely quit and give him even more shit because he missed 3 deer, or the same deer 3 times.
I only missed 1 deer.
Just 3 times.
Yeah. And that's what I told him this afternoon. Like, at least you missed 1 deer 3 times. You didn't miss 3 deer 1 time.
Yeah.
Because that's not good.
It's funny because somebody says they miss. It's like there's like maybe like a 3-minute pause, and then there's like a GIF or a meme just set immediately after that. It just totally roasts.
Let's talk about our social media real quick. I know we're supposed to be talking about camp, but like, let's talk about the amount of guys on social media right now that have never missed a deer, excluding Eric because he's also never missed a deer. But like, the amount of guys that like, you're like, oh, hey, I missed a deer. And they're like, oh, fuck you, dude. I've been hunting for 37 and a half years and I've never missed it. Get the fuck. No, you haven't. You've either only let 3 arrows go in your entire life or you're Joe Davis. Like, you've never missed a deer. It just doesn't make any sense.
I miss. I don't know, man. Social media is just a wild place because. Go ahead.
Well, it's kind of like what you were going to say, and it's like with like a couple of those videos, right? I listened to the one like Deer Hunter podcast when it was like the Boogeyman and Kevin, and it was like the one where they were going buck wild, but ultimately they were saying like Byron like did some sort of like a test, and he put something out there that was like positive, and then he put something out there that was negative, and like the people that come for the negative comments, like those ones just blow up, and the ones that are positive, nothing. Like people just want to be negative. They just want to hate on everything, and it's wild to me.
Like, it's like me and Joe Davis. We're like the yin and yang. Fails. Or I guess me and Nate.
Yeah, Nate. I was like, hey guys, I posted that video. I was just like, hey, go on there and say something negative. Cause I was like, we want some engagement. That's how you start it. And I was like, oh my God. Like, holy
153 shit. Comments later.
I was like, oh
what just happened?
I was like,
it's got like 1 point some million views.
It's at 1 point something right now.
I've been called everything from a spear chucker to everything because I simply.
My TikTok video has been insane. The amount of dudes that have like come out of the window, just like, hey, whatever. I've never missed a deer. You suck. How did you miss 2 feet to the right? You need to go take your bow somewhere and have it looked at. Like, you suck. Definitely a crossbow. That's my favorite thing. Definitely a crossbow on that.
John Johnson's comment is the best comment ever.
What did he say? I didn't see it.
He said, it's either Brad Collins. She said from the angle that arrow was released, it's either Brad Collins or one of the other Rome guys on their knees. But we can move that back, circle around because of funny comments at camp. There were a couple smaller deer that were harvested this year, and we won't get into any specifics, just because. But they were on the smaller side, and shout out to Big Shot Targets. They gave one of their real deer target series for the smallest doe that was shot for perspective, to kind of see what like 100-pound doe like actually looks like from different distances. But my brother-in-law, who's a very funny man, he's hilarious. So the gentleman who shot this deer was kind of recounting the story, and he was saying, man, I had to try and draw back like 3 times. He said, I tried to draw back. I couldn't get drawn back. I couldn't draw back. And without missing a beat, Chris goes, well, yeah, the thing must have looked like it was 100 yards away because it's only this. And I was like, oh my God.
When Chris, you weren't standing there, but when Chris walked up that deer, he said, oh, this one's my favorite.
Oh, Jake got a video.
Oh, I have the whole thing. Adam has it now.
Yeah.
I almost pissed my pants. I was laughing. So
because I knew exactly what was going to happen with Ferd. Because I've been around him enough, and I'm like, we got to get this on film.
But the thing is like, for that guy, and like I said, everybody that was there, it was just a really good experience. And he even said, back home, guys would like, just roast me for that. They just like what you're saying, they'd never shot a small deer before. They'd never done any of this stuff, blah, 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 blah. They'd just roast me. And he's like, none of you guys seem to care. You think it's funny. And it's
we tried it while you didn't. You chickened out. You're like, Brad, I can't shoot a deer that small.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I can. Let me. And if I hadn't tried to peek around the tree like I did, we may have killed him.
Yeah, if you'd just let them walk right underneath us, they'd have come right to the base of the tree, and you could have shot them strong side right there.
Nah, we ain't got time for that.
But same thing, like Nate, who doesn't shoot button bucks, missed a button buck at 43 yards with my bow. So he even got caught up in it, I think. And then those other 2 deer that were with the one that you killed came back and came right to the base of the tree, and I was going to shoot the bigger one, but the small one was like right on my other climbing stick at the base of the tree, and they boogered out of there. But like, if it would have been just the one deer by itself, maybe it would have been different. If it wasn't a button buck, maybe, I don't know. But that was the thing, is like, there was nobody who, Ben shot that little spike thinking that it was a doe, same as Jason did the year before, and nobody was like, oh, I've never done that. Oh, I can't believe that, blah, blah, blah. Jason shot that one that was a button buck. Like, how are you going to know? You shoot one, whatever.
And nobody cares. I think that's the thing. It's like,
and for all the people hating at home or people listening or whatever, like, you have to understand, if you really are thinking about it, we had like 30 guys go out, and over the span of like 4 days, killed 10 deer. I think we hit 3 that didn't get recovered. 2 of them ran onto private that we didn't have permission to go continue tracking. One of them was a definite bad hit. I think the other one was what I think is a brisket, like muscle hit, but then there was probably another 10 arrows that were fired that missed their mark. It wasn't like there was like a low population of deer, or like that we were like decimating any sort of herd, or like,
this was spread out too a long ways. It wasn't like we're in one little, block of timber. We were freaking 45 minutes, hour apart in some areas. So
yeah, but I'm just saying, like, the deer density there was pretty high.
Yeah,
considering, but yeah, I think that this, like, getting into a group, going to a deer camp, having fun, is like a stark contrast from that, like, social media where everybody's perfect, same thing, like on social media, like, you miss and it's like, oh, blah, 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 just like you said. You come back to camp and it's like, Eric, you missed. Why'd you let Matt in your truck? Because he misses every time. Like, it's just like the ball busting, like everything like that. Like, oh, missed again. Like, whatever. Miss a buck 3 times, it'll get you. I'll tell you what. Like, that's
how do they hang around for 3 shots? That's I don't. Every time I miss, they're in the next county.
That's exactly what I was thinking, and so like the second shot was so fast. Like, when I watched the video back, that's what I was thinking in my head, is like, this thing is going to be like, he's going to bolt. So like, I got another arrow out. I got it knocked. I got it drawn back. I got it on him, and I let the arrow go. Like, I reverted to like myself, 4 or 5 years ago, where that was like my draw cycle. Get it back, get it on brown, let release, like no shot process, no nothing, The first shot, I was at full draw for a minute and a half. Like, I watched the video. This thing was coming through, and he got behind a tree, so I drew. Well, he stopped behind the tree and made a scrape there. And so I'm like looking, waiting. then he takes another step. I can see his antlers. I can see his head. He's just making a scrape. I'm like, come on, just take another couple steps. Shot right over. But then after I missed him the second time, I shot underneath him. He jumps over there, and he's like at like 30 yards. And I'm thinking, of course he's going to run away now, right? He starts rubbing a tree. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I range him. And on the video, it's 3.5 minutes of him rubbing a tree. And I'm like ranging him. He's 30. So I dialed the 30 this time because I'm like, I can't do that again. Then he turns and he comes in and he's at like 16, but he's behind these bushes. So I'm like, back to 20. Then he turns around. He's going to go back up the way he went. So I dial it back to 25. Shot right over top of him. Like, fuck. I have no idea why he stayed there that long.
Yeah, I mean,
but like talking with Nate, I had the wind, and I walked into this woods 20 yards, and I had the wind. So there was nothing there to spook him. Like, and he'd probably been in there all day. I didn't make any noise or anything, so. But I don't know. It's just nuts. But I couldn't. That was the thing, is like I couldn't believe it. And like you said, and everybody's basically told me, like, yeah, when I was 16 or 14 and I was shooting 21-17 aluminum arrows and I shot over these stupid deer, emptied my quiver. Like I had one of my buddies before, like when we were like 12, like empty his quiver, go down, get his arrows, climb up the tree, and then miss again. Like, and that's as a kid, but how do these deer, just being, when you're on public, like it doesn't work like that. Like you get one shot, like you get one chance. That's it. So
Eric knows.
I was baffled. No, absolutely. I know he knows.
Yep.
So, but I think that was a great, great camp, great atmosphere. I think everybody had fun. We had like great support. So, you guys were there. Jake wasn't there, but how about the amount of stuff that we got from Huntworth?
Holy cow, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a lot of stuff.
So they sent us like what they normally do. They gave us some backpacks, some sweatshirts, some gloves, some hats. But then they said, hey, we got these leftover samples from like packaging. Like, could you use them? And I said, yeah, absolutely. And they sent me like 72 pairs of gloves and then hats and baklavas and other stuff. And it was like overwhelming, like too many. And so I'm like, you guys have to take these. Like, there's too much. Then we got a bunch of stuff from Latitude, and then Zingers, and Kanati gave us some arrows, and then the target from Big Shot. And then Austin was up there in camp and for a couple days, and he brought a bunch of stuff laid out for everybody, which was pretty awesome. And it's great.
Chris B with his knives.
Oh, yeah,
That was
Chris.
really cool to have like a Patreon, like bring something up and throw it on the table of his own.
Yeah, that was neat. I didn't get one of those. That would have been nice. But, whatever. Tracked a lot of deer for that guy.
I twisted my knee for that guy. I didn't get one, so I'm just saying.
But no, I think, like, for me, like, that is, like, probably, like, one of the highlights of my season. And I'm glad that everybody is kind of taken to it, like, taking ownership in it. You know what I mean? So I don't feel like I have to, like, babysit anymore.
Entertain everybody all weekend.
Yeah, it's not that. I don't really care to entertain anybody so much. But I just want to make sure that, like, nobody's going to fist fight or, like, nobody's being a crybaby because they don't know where to hunt. They don't know where they're at. This
Weird.
is
You
what
keep
they
saying nobody.
signed up for.
I think you just might as well just say my name. It feels that way.
Brad.
No, you can figure it out. I mean, what's funny is we were talking about it, and we had to show you where to kill deer in Tennessee. We had to show you where to kill deer in Michigan. Like, you hunted with us one time.
I'm thankful for you guys. Yeah. Feeding my family.
Yeah. One arrow at a time.
I don't know. It's more than one.
Oh yeah, you did miss. I forgot.
My whole quiver full of arrows that first morning in Tennessee.
Yeah, I kept getting texts of just like pictures of stuff, and then you're like, "I'm running out of arrows," and I was like, "I can't."
I was almost like your buddy you were talking about. Like I almost got down, had to pick my shit up and get back up the tree.
Oh my gosh! So, Josh puts out his video. So Overdrive Outdoors, Josh Mapes, he shot that buck. He's got it all on video, and it is a hell of a story. How do you guys think he's gonna edit that story?
One shot, one kill. That's all.
Just
what happened. What I saw.
I'm just curious, like, because for us, it's the same thing as like, shoot a small deer here or there. It's all well and good. And you do, maybe you miss a couple times. Maybe you have a couple things go sideways. It's all well and good until, you got to put the video out. And,
the best part of that whole story is like, the same question was asked like multiple, like, why did we just cut its throat? And then it was like, Tyler was standing there like, wait, don't do it. Like, what if John's mounting the biggest buck again this year? Don't cut its throat.
Yeah, it worked out. But yeah, so Joe, what are you what are your aspirations for the season? Like, what do you got on your agenda? I know you got like kids and work and school and all sorts of things, and you're using up a bunch of your time to go to Kansas and follow us around.
Right. I don't know, just produce a show. That's all I really care about this season. I don't really have no goals besides filming stuff and managing the team. I mean, I don't really manage you guys. You guys manage yourself, but just try to have a clear direction and see what the people want and get everybody on board and all that. I don't know what else I can really do this season besides that. That's what I wanted.
When does that start?
What?
Clear direction.
No, clear direction. That's what I've been working on. I don't know. I really just want, when I came aboard with you guys when you guys invited me on here, and I wanted to get something rolling, so that's what my main focus is.
And then Eric, what about you? What do you got for? Because you're chasing some. You sent us some pictures of some really good bucks this morning.
Yeah,
that, you should have been in the woods up for.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty sick Friday, I think. No, I got some pretty good deer on camera. I bought 2 doe tags. I'd still like to fill another doe tag, and then hopefully a buck tag, and I'm hoping to fill a doe and a buck tag before we go to Kansas. So when I get to Kansas, I won't miss one. Yeah, I've been hunting super hard this year. I've already I should have kept track, but I think I've already done like 16 sits this year. So, but I've been seeing deer almost every sit. Had deer in range almost every sit. So I mean, last year I had a rough year, and going into this year I spent way more time scouting and checking new areas and different spots because I didn't want to, have the same thing happen that happened last year with all those deer dying of EHD. Kind of hit me hard first month of the year last year. So I knew this year going into the year I wanted to come through the gate swinging, you know. So that's what I've been doing.
Bradley?
Yeah. I'm just kind of doing what I always do, running around like a chicken with my head cut off and hoping I run into something.
Aren't you supposed to have like 6 deer killed by now?
I would love to tell you that I have 6 deer killed by now. But this year's been hard, and it's been just in the Facebook groups and the stuff around here. It's a lot of guys are saying the same thing that I'm saying, that deer just aren't doing what they have done in the years past. And then I see, again, go back to the internet. Some guys are saying, "Oh, you don't know what you're doing," or they're all doing the same thing they've always been doing. But it's we've had such a drought here that it's just been a shift. It's been a really weird shift. Even the crops didn't grow like they should, and so it's been. I've been trying to hunt more like I'm out of state, like you talk about sometimes, to go after things that I normally wouldn't do. Even tonight, normal me would not have broke my entire setup down and moved, 50 to 75 yards, whatever I moved, because the wind was wrong. But I knew I was going in there after that buck, and I knew where he had come from in the past. If I didn't make those decisions or I didn't make those moves, it wasn't going to happen. So I think I'm doing a little bit more of that, like putting myself in the game versus just sitting to sit. And a lot of that stems from you guys, Adam being in my ear, or, there was one day I said something and your response was, if you're not hunting, you're hoping. And that was kind of echoing in the back of my mind. Like, if I sit here and I stay here longer, I'm hoping deer will show up, or I'm hoping deer will find their way out. But what I really need to do is put myself in the game where I know deer are going to be there. And that's kind of what I've been doing since camp and since season has started, is trying to put myself in the best possible situation to kill versus the best possible situation just to see deer or hope I see deer. And, moving forward, hopefully that'll be the game. I got, 3 weeks. And then the one piece of public you guys hunted with me on closes. So I'm kind of trying to focus my efforts on that right now. And then, I'll start hitting the private and stuff. I think in the morning I'm going to take off, and we kind of talked this afternoon about, I got a couple really good bucks on camera on private land, but they're there at midnight, and it's a small piece of public or a small piece of private. So it's not a lot of moving around I can do, not a lot of seeking I can do. So, I'm kind of torn between do I go and try and hope that those deer are going to step out in that spot, or do I go and try and find deer on public land that, are there now? So I'm just kind of conflicted, but we'll continue, and hopefully I'll get it all on camera and I won't miss 3 deer in 30 minutes again, and we'll move on.
Yeah, you could do it in 7.
Well, that was 1 deer though. That wasn't 3.
Yeah. And then Jake, you got the next week off?
Yeah, so I'm sick. I'm sick all next week.
And that's your historical time?
Yeah. Yeah, 90% of the deer that I've ever shot come from the 24th to, Halloween. So, I'm not a big November guy. So, no, we got a couple deer that we've been watching. We've been waiting for the right times. And I think this week, be the ticket. So that's it for me.
And then Kansas. And have you done any more research work, anything on getting your decoy together?
I was actually doing that today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just get one of the what are they, the stickers, whatever, you can get them off eBay for $25, and then go get that
corrugated stuff from Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever.
Yeah, and then make one. I just got to figure out the finish. It's got to be the matte.
You can almost probably get some of like the matte, like clear, and just spray paint
Sprayed it, yeah. Yeah, because that's what I want. I don't care to shoot one in Kansas out of a tree stand. I want to shoot one like 10 feet away. It's either at 10 feet away or at 100.
Yeah, you're going to need to practice, not with that anything other than like what you're going to do, how you're going to mount your Insta360 to that, and then what it's going to look like. Oh. You know what I mean? Like you're going to have to figure out a way to mount it to there.
So I was looking at it the other day of some people, they cut the hole out of the center, like in the center of its chest. So then one's going forwards and then one's going backwards. And I'm like, that might not be a bad idea.
Yeah. Yeah. But like I said, that's one of the things that you're going to, you don't want to be out there like figuring that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So get a deer killed, like say Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
We'll drag it out, and then you got a couple days next week to figure it out.
Yeah, perfect. Well, no, I mean, I got another tag too, so.
Yeah.
You got to name the decoy too. So.
Well.
What do you want me to name it, Brad?
Well, I don't. Eric picked the last decoy name. So.
It's it just pops up. You gotta maybe throw that decoy
sometimes
out.
it'll just come to you.
Have you seen what I name all my cameras?
Yes,
Yeah.
I have.
Okay,
Hopefully you get a better name for your decoy.
No, Urban
I don't
Dictionary
know.
names for everything.
Eric picked a pretty good name for Adams.
Yeah. So
Brad Sucks Ass is available though.
Hey, Adam, what's your goals
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
goals.
or your aspirations?
I have to shoot something here to get this funk off of me, like this stink that I have right now.
I know the feeling of that.
But yeah, so I switched. I went and when I went out this morning, I took the Bowtech. Was shooting. I killed that bear with that Bear Alaskan. I missed with the bear, but I don't like the sight that was on that bow, and I was gonna switch over, but I was gonna switch over when I went to Kansas anyways and shoot the Bowtech anyways. But with that Method 3, that butter bridge, like I have an issue with it on the weak side, on the left side, where the sheathing goes to the bridge. There's like shrink tubing where it meets the AM steel. And I was running my tether really low and with a really short bridge, so I was close to the tree. And shooting weak side all the way over, like it hangs up, and then if you move too far, it like clunks over, kind of like what Brad was talking about Troy did. So that was really difficult to get in like a good shooting position. So I adjusted that and got that all straightened out. But anyways, I shot the Bowtech today. Pins are good, 20, 30, 40. I didn't shoot the bottom pin, but the Rover's at 52. Like I know that's on, but I know at 52 it's 20, 30, 40, 52. So the next thing that walks in front of me, maybe, and even if it is one of these milk drinking, just drop the spot fawns, it may get one just because I got to shoot something. But that spot over there where I missed that buck there's like 5 or 6 different bucks that frequent there, but it's a new piece. Frank's hunting it too. It's very small. It's just going to be like a travel corridor, trying to figure it out. So I'm kind of looking at these other spots. I still have that buck up by the Patreon hunt that I really would like to kill. Not a awesome buck by any stretch of the imagination, but it just would be fun to be able to actually see one on camera, figure it out, and go kill him on the right wind. So there's that. And I work next Monday. So I work this weekend and I work a half a day on Monday, and then I'm off, I think, until November 4th. And then I work like 2 days or something, and then I'm off until we go to until we come back from Kansas or something. So like I'm off for quite some time. So my plan is kind of like next week to get on something and kind of do what Brad was talking about. Just hunt like I'm hunting out of state, or go try and figure out like where these deer are moving, what's going on, try and go find something. And to kill a deer, kill a buck before I go to Kansas. Kind of same thing what Eric was talking about, kill a buck and maybe a doe or something before Kansas. But the week is going to be good. And then I guess in there too, like Halloween night, I'm going to take Stella trick-or-treating, headed to the UP, going to go to the UP for like 4 days, then come back, and I've got 2 days off after that when I get back, and then I got to work a day or two. So that's the plan, and then Kansas, and we'll see what happens in Kansas. But my goal, my aspiration, my only thing for Kansas is that Eric kills something. So he's got to get more arrows.
I don't need that pressure.
So you just need to find a deer, so I've hunted with Eric in Indiana, Ohio, Tennessee, Missouri, and he missed a deer in Missouri, Tennessee. He passed a 6-point in Indiana, and I'm not even sure he even saw a deer in Ohio.
I never seen a deer in Ohio. When we were scouting, we kicked that one up on that ridge, that drainage we were scouting. But in the tree, I never seen a deer.
And then when we left, we seen that big ass buck right on the archery range, just like we did in Tennessee.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't think about that. Yeah, that one in Tennessee was freaking huge too.
Yeah. So, but that's my thing. Like, I've killed a buck in Kansas. Like, I kind of have we'll see what happens when we get there. But like, I have an idea of like what I want to look for. Like like I said, I have an idea of like where I want to be, like where I think these deer are going to be. So I'm perfectly fine following you around, videoing you kill something, and then I'll shoot the first 4-point that comes by after that. I don't care. Like, I literally don't care. So it's just going to be fun. So it's going to be fun to go down there and be able to do that. And we got a week or so to do it. And Jake's going to be running around with a decoy trying to kill one that way. It's going to be cool. And, Mark's going to be trying to figure it out. So it's going to be a fun experience. But the thing is like, you're due. So that's all. Just don't miss. Matt, get whatever Matt left in your truck, take it out. So,
yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of what I got. So I don't know. Anybody got anything else?
What about you, Nate? Oh, never mind. Nate didn't show up.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He planned this on his anniversary.
Yeah.
What a shame. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I was hunting on my anniversary on Sunday night. So
yeah, let's pump the brakes. Like, who gets married, Jake? Like, let's talk about this. Who gets married in October? What's wrong with you?
Do you know why?
Because obviously not.
She wanted one thing, and that was an October wedding. Do you know what she got? An October wedding. And do you know what I get to do? Whatever I want.
Okay.
I mean, I hunted on my anniversary.
Yeah. No, look.
I mean,
yeah.
Some of us live in the light. Some of us are Nate, and we're not here right now.
Dude,
so
I don't say shit because my wife. I mean, Adam's seen it. Like, when it comes to hunting or anything deer related, dude, no questions asked. I'm just like, gone, and she's cool with it. So I'm like, all right. That's
I went and hunted my wife's buck tonight. So like, I asked her, like, you want me to wait or you want me to go? And she's like, no, we know where he's at. Go after him.
She said, you ain't going to kill it anyway. So.
Yeah, that's probably what. Yeah. She's going to wait till her sister gets here, and then they're going to go in and smash it. I'm going to be pissed.
But
par for the course.
All right. Well, we're going to have to do one of these sometime in November, maybe before we go to Kansas, and see where we're at with any of this stuff. See if Joe's got us on track. But I think that's kind of all we got for this evening. So, all right, thanks.
Bow hunting all comes down to a moment. And in the moment, you want equipment on your bow that will get the job done. Trophy Ridge products are the tools bow hunters trust. React Technology sights, rests, stabilizers, and quivers to help a bow hunter be successful in the field. And those tools are from Trophy Ridge.
Hey guys, this is Melissa Bachman. Are you ready to stop spooking deer before it's even time to hunt them? Then you need the new Flex S Dark cellular trail camera from SpyPoint. With a no-glow flash option, long-lasting solar power, and a ton of settings that can be changed anytime through the SpyPoint app, there are no more excuses for letting your deer get wise before the season even starts. So check it out for yourself and see why the SpyPoint Flex S Dark is the unstoppable and undetectable scouting tool you need for your next hunt.